We're talking about spring, and the irony is I'm not a seasonal person. I'm born in a country that doesn't have the four seasons. But growing up, I've been reading about all these books about spring, fall, autumn. That's the same thing. I know what the seasons are supposed to mean, but I've never really experienced it. The most that I did is just travel to a country that is in the season, and I'm just traveling, I'm just there for maximum a week, maybe a few months, but I didn't live a full year. So what am I doing? Cosplaying as someone who cares about the seasons? I don't know. Even though I'm living in a country that's like tropical all year long, it's hot and humid, I still enjoy seeing people romanticizing the four seasons, having this sort of dance with nature. You're kind of growing with nature, and that's kind of beautiful. I want to be a part of this romanticization. So yes, this is a spring video, but coming from someone who doesn't really feel the spring weather, and yet I am feeling the spring vibes. Is this a TBR video? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of everything. It's like some recommendations, some are like my TBR list, but also there are a lot of other recommendations from me, like perfumes, my spring rituals that I would just like to share and maybe recommend to you. With the weather hot as hell, the only thing that I associate spring to is just cleaning and also childhood. My childhood is just filled with a lot of gardens, nature, flowers. Also reading a lot of spring books because that is the only thing that I can relate to in a sense. So growing up, whenever it's springtime, I would always go back to my childhood favorites. My ultimate favorite book is The Secret Garden when I was younger. As a child, I had the children's version. I read it every month. I loved it. It always felt like I'm going to a place, like my secret sanctuary whenever I'm reading that book. This book, if you don't know already, is about a little girl who became an orphan. She is being sent to England to live with a distant relative, and she's feeling all this loneliness inside her. And the only place that she can find solace is this secret garden. And it is a garden that has left neglected. It's dormant and lifeless, much like how a garden would be in winter. They began to tend to it, and the garden gradually awakens with the vibrant energy of spring. It came to life again. I would like to think that a space in my mind looks like this. It's so beautiful. Another childhood favorite of mine that reminds me of spring is called A Monster Calls. I know. This is a book about grief. It's about this young boy whose mother is ill with cancer, and he's kind of watching his mother dying slowly. And he's kind of dealing with all these complex emotions of, should I start grieving now? Or how do I hold on to my mom? And so with all of these feelings, he started seeing this monster. So it's a huge tree, and maybe it's like a symbol of his fear, but more so I see this tree as a calming presence that's guiding him through his emotions, but also teaching him about life, about nature. That in itself is so spring to me. The fact that one of the main characters, which is the monster, is resembling this huge, beautiful tree. This will be a recommendation to you. I won't be rereading this because I think I grew out of the phase of reading children/young adult books. So yeah. Another win that I usually get during spring is spending long amounts of time in the kitchen with jazz playing in the background. That is just so spring to me. It's like spending slow time on something beautiful that can feed you in the end. But then I like my books that talk about kitchens and cooking to be a little bit melancholic and sad. So I recently read Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto, and I loved it. It exactly delivered what I wanted. It is a novella on grief, love, and this special presence of the kitchen, where it is a sanctuary for you to process your emotions, but also there are a lot of memories associated with it. There's a lot of appreciation for food in this book as well, ranging from home-cooked foods to high-end foods to really popular shops, restaurants. Another book that I want to read that kind of talks about kitchens in a way that I like is called Please Look After Mom. This is a book about a missing mother, and it's told in different perspectives from her daughter, son, and husband. It is with these narratives that you realize none of these people really know who the mother is. A lot of the memories that are associated with mom is the food that she made and also the kitchen. So when she's gone, the kitchen has become this empty space with no life in it. I think I would like reading that during spring. The reason I love reading these sort of books is because I want to place more meanings to this place when I'm preparing food. Like I want to be reminded of the kitchen being a sanctuary, the kitchen being a space for identity. The kitchen is so much more complex than what we think it is compared to other spaces in the house. And also in spring, I love love. I love reading about love. I love watching love. I don't do this in other seasons. I do not know why. I feel like spring is the only time I can feel some sort of romance in me. I do not like to read romance books unless they are historical romances or they're Chinese romance novels. So I'm just going to share my favorite historical romance, which is called Dreaming of You. This is one of my favorite to revisit because the hero is just so dreamy here. This romance is just scrumptious. What happens in this book is our heroine is a writer and our hero is this handsome, tough, someone who rose from poverty to become like this really rich person who owns London's most exclusive gambling house. All of the struggles that he went through from poverty to becoming rich has made him cold, suspicious, and just this very hardened person. The heroine in this is just very bubbly and inquisitive, and how they met at first is she kind of helped him out of a dangerous situation and she kind of shot someone in that conflict. I really love her personality in this. And the best part of this romance is the third act when we explore more of how the hero is. And I love that in romances. I love getting to know the vulnerable side of the hero and how he has stuff that he has to go through as well and how they reconcile after that. Chef's kiss. Now, a book that I haven't read, A Room with a View by E.M. Foster. A significant portion of the book is set in Florence, Italy during the spring, so very spring fitting, but also it is about love. This girlie needs to choose between two options. One, I think it's a wealthy man who is kind of the best pick on paper. He's like the traditional go-to option. But then her heart is pulled towards this other guy, unconventional based on the societal constraints at that time. But he's quirky, he's weird. She's into it. Apparently, her experiences in Italy led to a thawing of her repressed emotions and a new understanding of herself and her desires. So I think that's really fitting of spring because kind of do some self-exploration in spring, some unraveling, which brings me to my next whim, which is unraveling. I unravel during spring. Yes. It's not autumn, it's not winter, it's spring. Because I feel like once you do all of the organization, the spring cleaning, here comes an empty space for you to truly curate your personality, the things that you consume, and also your goals, I guess. And with this empty space, it's time for you to learn more about yourself. Maybe you might go into this unraveling phase of not really knowing who you are and not really knowing what goals you should set for yourself. So this whim is kind of like flowers overgrowing in your garden, but you're losing your sense of self while seeing others going through their spring with hope. I find this really relatable. This is something that I wrote. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, this is what I feel during spring. Here are the books that will match this whim. First is a book that I haven't read, The Yellow Wallpaper. So the book is about this woman who is confined to a room by her physician husband for a rest cure. and she's denied intellectual stimulation. So her mental state is deteriorating and she becomes increasingly obsessed with the yellow wallpaper in her room. I love watching and reading media that talks about women going crazy because how can we not? And another book that is about a woman going crazy. This book I read and I really loved it. It stayed with me for a really long time. The main premise is Lucy's husband cheated on her. Jake, who is the husband, told her that, kind of promised her that she can hurt him 3 times in order to keep the marriage and see if she'll forgive him or not. So the book explores all of her emotions and whether she should be violent with her desires to hurt him. She's also thinking, do I even love this man anymore? How far should she hurt him? How deep her anger is, because there is a lot of repressed anger from all of the years that she has been keeping this image of a stable household, of a happy family. You'll see a lot of references to this mythological creature called the harpy. I really like the ending of this book. I think if I were in her position, I would also do the same thing. It's one of my favorite books and I love reading about female rage in all seasons of life. But this one, especially because of the harpy, I think it's really fitting of spring. And then spring is also about magic and fun, about fairies and magic and flying around and sparkles. I think when nature is alive like this, nature shows you that you are magic itself. Nature is magic, but also you are part of nature and you are magic. I don't like magic books a lot. So I don't have any recommendations nor TBR on any books about magic. But we can go another way. We can go another route, which is carnivalesque. I think that's more magical than magic itself because it tells you that we are the magic. We make lives fun, dramatic, and like a circus. It's us humans that do it, not the spells, the genie, whoever, okay? One author that I really love who writes like this is Angela Carter, of course. And my favorite book of hers is Wise Children, which is, I think, her last book. She kind of wrote a book that encompasses life in a way that's vibrant. It's a fun book. So it's about these twins that are in the show business. Their whole family is also in the show business. And the thing is, they are illegitimate children and the whole family is just really unconventional. There are a lot of weird family relations and it's about them trying to find a sense of belonging. There are a lot of twins in this book and I find that so funny. It's not a roller coaster ride, it's just like a really fun circus show and really fun ride. But if you still want some magic, another recommendation is Angela Carter's Book of Fairy Tales. That's a lot of books now. On to spring rituals. I donated probably 60% of my wardrobe. I also cleaned every single spot in my room, deep cleaned my room. I cleared a lot of my books earlier in the year too. I also cleared all of my digital spaces. So YouTube watch list, my subscriptions, and also cleared my Kindle books. This means room for more, which brings me to my next thing that I do in spring, which is filling up old spaces with new loves. This year, I feel like all of my old spaces are kind of filled. The only thing that I want to buy are perfumes because I have been on a perfume buying ban for 3 years now, I think. I kind of outgrew a lot of my old perfumes. They're more on the floral side. So this year I want to like discover more scents that might fit my current vibe. These are the fragrances that I've been loving this spring. I love wearing Lily of the Valley in spring. Dior's Lucky. My favorite perfume. It smells like something reawakened in you. It smells like spring, basically. Garden filled with flowers and with the greenest grass after the rain. I get a lot of compliments when I wear this. I also bought a few new perfumes and my favorite combo right now, the Labo's Gaiac 10 and diptyque's. When I wear this on its own, I don't really like it. It smells a bit too powdery to me, but I really like the iris in this. And I really think this is a great spring spring perfume. Gaiac on itself, I know a lot of people don't like it. I've tried it on different people and it smells different. It could smell medicinal to some. To me, it smells like sanitizer, but in a really good way. It smells like I'm going into a chemical lab and I should smell like this before I go into the lab. But it's not sharp, you know, it's not in your face. It's just, it smells clean. So whenever I wear this with this, it lasts the whole day, but also I just smell like the cleanest soul on earth. I smell like I took 1,000 showers today. That's crazy. This just balances out the powderiness in this, but also it smells less chemical lab-ish because there's a beautiful touch of diptyque scent in it. I also bought Portrait of a Lady recently. Excuse me? I feel like the most beautiful woman on earth whenever I wear this. Not even the most beautiful woman. When I wear this, I just feel like a mythical being. And that's how I want to feel during spring. I want to feel like a fairy. It lasts a long time. I feel like it gives off vintage rose. I just love this. It kind of boosts my confidence and I walk more comfortable in my own skin. If you're not really into floral, another recommendation for you. This one, I don't have a bottle. I only tried it in the store and my friend really likes it. That's why it's kind of like on my radar. It smells really good. This smells more like a black tea kind of scent if you like tea scents, but not so tea. It smells like a tea garden, but without the temple-ish incense feel to it. Now, some other things that I do during spring. One is I like to calm myself down with nostalgic films that I watched as a child. I watched a lot of old Disney films, particularly Fantasia 2000. Like I replayed it on the TV for so many times and I'm like glued to the TV and it's kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. I think I creeped out most of my family members, but I'm just so immersed and so intrigued and fascinated with the whole film. The film is a series of short animation paired with music played by this orchestra. There are scenes of the orchestra playing and then you cut into the various animations and each of the animation talks about different things and themes. I love classical music when I was a kid, so this movie is really special to me. I usually rewatch it when I want to relive my childhood. Other recommendations that I have, they're also old Disney films. I'll leave the links down below, but one is called The Little House and another one is called Somewhere in Dreamland. Some games that remind me of spring. One free game that I know is Infinity Nikki. The visuals are amazing in this. A lot of nature, a lot of spring in this game. There are no other seasons in this game. This whole game is so spring to me and it's free. You can play it on mobile as well. Another open world game. If you want a bit more difficulty, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You don't even have to fight the monsters. That's crazy. Actually, you do have to fight like the little monsters. But what I like to do when I don't want to fight the monsters or progress the story is just run around and unlock temples because the temples are puzzles that you can just play. Another recommendation on Nintendo is Ni no Kuni if you really like Studio Ghibli vibes. I think Studio Ghibli is also very spring-ish. I don't know if it's available on other platforms. It could be. That's the end. Hope you have a good spring. I don't even know what that means because I don't even know when spring ends, but hope you have a great spring.